Okay, my clock says we're right at the top of the hour, and we're pretty small group, so I think we should get started. The join rate is not high, and first I want to thank you for joining this session. We conduct these sessions pretty much before every meeting, or have done since 2020, and the goal is at this point really is just to give people a chance to become reacquainted from Medico if they haven't used it for a while, and to point out any new features that have been incorporated based on community input since the last time we used it for an IETF meeting. So we have Alessandro Amarante here today from Medico, which is great, and again, thanks to everybody for joining. I've uploaded, or I'm sorry, I have not uploaded. I'm sharing some slides here today, and I'll run through those really quickly, and then just run through a few reminders. But as I mentioned earlier, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll pick them up. Or also, one of the goals of this session is to just test video and audio setup. So we'd be happy to have folks raise their hands, and then we can do those kinds of tests as well. So yeah, so with that, I'll get started. The slides that I'm showing here are generated off of the template that is provided in the working group chairs, the session chairs checklist, which you can find from the preparing webpage on the IETF website. So I encourage you for sure to take a look at those pages and just review them. They're pretty short, and they have some nuggets that can be useful for just getting ready for sessions at the upcoming meeting, or even for interim meetings between them, between IETF meetings. Just a reminder that we're being recorded. This is record. Marco, I apologize. Yeah. I see now here. I sent that. That was my mistake, and I copied and pasted too quickly. So I just sent out an update with the correct links. Apologies for any trouble. This is the note whale. Again, this session is being recorded, and as all IETF meeting sessions are, this session is recovered by the IETF note whale. I suspect everybody here is pretty familiar with it, but it's always fun to read a couple times a year, which of course I do. Again, this session is being recorded. These are some tips. You'll see that I'm using earbuds. I'm actually using Bluetooth earbuds, which can work pretty well, but there are also sometimes advantages to using wired earplugs, and I understand earbuds, sorry, and I understand from my younger daughters that those are actually a la mode these days. So don't be ashamed to use wired earphones and microphones. If you're on site, this is the same as was true at 113. But if you're going to be on site, it is required to use Medico to sign in for sessions. That sign in populates the blue sheets, and also provides integrated queue management for both in-person and remote participants. I think it worked pretty well at 113. That's the feedback we got. So this feature is continued to 114. And if you're using, you can use either the light version or the full version of the Medico client. And if you're using the light version, you'll notice that it doesn't send audio or video by default, which is perfect for that situation. You can use the full client, but you just have to make sure not to send audio or video, because the in-room AV setup will take care of that for you if you're actually in the room. And of course, remote participants should just, whether you're a chair of a session or a full or a participant, you should use the full version, because which is what I'm using now, and what we all should be using now since we're all remote, and that handles everything all in one place. Super handy. I'll just pause there, because this last slide is really just a review of what I think everybody here saw in the email, which is we're having these moderated test sessions, which are really just maybe more guided test sessions because they're not really moderated. People can jump in whenever they want. There will be on-demand testing beginning July 15th. That is this Friday. And once after Friday, the new version of Meetup will be deployed, and you can set up test sessions. And again, instructions on how to do that are provided in the chair guides on the web pages at the URL that you see here. And you can set that up. It won't create a virtual interim meeting or anything. It's simply a test session that you can use to test things out amongst yourselves as chairs, or you can even invite your presenters to join a test session, and you can test everything, their setups, your setups, everything, if you set one of those up. And then in addition, there will be, I see questions in the chat, and I will answer those as I see them. So Joel, in the full client, you don't have to do anything to turn it off. The icons. Oh, I see incoming audio and video. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, and people are already responding. Fantastic. Thanks for asking the question, though. If you're asking the question, I'm sure other people have the same one. Then the last item here, just in terms of other resources, we had this at 113, and we're going to do it again at 114. On site, there will be a room set up, which is exactly like a session room. And again, you can sign up via a notepad. Again, the link is available from the chair resources page on the website. And if you just sign up for a session, that'll reserve that room for you. And you can walk into the room. You'll see the setup exactly as it is for the meeting. And you can connect to a test session, including and test out the audio and video in the room, and as well with remote, either chairs or remote participants. So yeah, I think that takes me through all the slides that I have. The two things that I think I know are different, and Alessandro, I'll give you this warning that if I miss something, please jump in and let me know. The two things that for sure are different, the links that I see that Michael, links go to on-site link. Okay, I'll check that out. If you can tell me exactly which links are should be changed, let me know, Michael. So back to the updates. The one is that Meetup is now integrated with Zulip. So this chat that we're using in Meetup actually connects to the IETF Zulip server in a stream called testing. And just as with previously with XMPP, the Meetup view you see is connected to the more general group chat service. Previously was XMPP Jabber, and now it's Zulip. So you can also use the Zulip web interface or a Zulip client to connect to those same streams. The other change is that on the Lite client, you can also find a link to the chat stream. So previously there wasn't a link there, and now there is. So that answers a pretty common request we had to make that link available for on-site participants who are using the Lite client, and so that you don't need to necessarily fire up a separate client or use the full version of Meetup to get access to the chat stream for any session that you were using the Lite client for. And Alessandro, I think those are the two big changes. Did I miss anything else?
Yeah, no, as you said, those are the biggest changes. Let me check my notes. Yeah, we made some changes about the slides sharing feature because we were asked to give chairs the possibility to take the control of the slides back once they handed it over to somebody else, and this is now available in the chairs interface. And also there is now a button to do a sort of a bulk update of all slide decks that are available on the data tracker, even though this should not be needed because now we have fixed the wrong behavior that we had at last meeting where slides were not automatically being pulled from the data tracker at the room's opening and uploaded into Miteco. Now this has been fixed. So there should be no need to do any update, any upload manually by the chairs. And
yeah.
Oh yeah, another minor thing is that now pronouns that you set in the data tracker should be displayed if you hover any participant in the participant list. If, of course, if any pronouns has been set in the data tracker profile. So I don't see any actually for the current online participants. So I cannot double check that, but I can try to join with another user.
So when I tried to join this session just now, and I got as others got, we got the light connection. I actually was told that I needed to rotate my browser on my desktop before I could use it, and I couldn't do anything with it. So that was really difficult, and I had no way of getting to the full, no way of finding or discovering the full name, except that I know the URLs well enough that I just guessed. So yeah. I and of course, like, as soon as I did the other thing, then I got kicked out of the other tab. When I went back to try to tell you what it was again, it logged me into the other thing that was rotated. It kicked me out of this one. So I think it would be good to have, I mean, I guess you want to encourage people to use the light version who are on site. But I think it would be very good to be able to switch back and forth much more clearly. If that's a possibility, if you can just throw a link or something, or I don't know what. Otherwise, I think that most people are going to learn very quickly to just use the full version and hope they remember to turn off their microphone.
Yeah, I have to apologize again, Michael. Thanks for pointing that out. It was my mistake to sending the wrong version, so wrong link, the light link. So sorry for the trouble there. But it's an interesting point about if people unintentionally click on the icon, for example, in Data Tracker from their desktop and to reach the light version, since they're next to each other, handling that case might be worth looking into for sure. Andy, thanks for raising your hand. Please go ahead.
A couple quick questions. First of all, can you hear and see me okay?
Yeah, you look great.
Perfect. And the second question is, if I am the person who has the slides loaded and I'm projecting the slides, and there's someone who's speaking who's in the room who has the light client on their phone, how do I hand over control of pushing the slides to the person, to the speaker, or is that not possible?
Yeah, sure, it's possible. You said if the people that should present has the light client, right?
Yes, on their phone.
Yeah, as a chair, you can just go on the participants list and you'll see a control that allows you to pass the slides control to somebody else. And this is only available to chairs. So when the system recognizes you as chair. So now this is available to Greg, for instance. And
yeah,
if you do,
Andy,
but
you have to be sharing slides, not sharing screen.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yes,
and I
yes,
think that
exactly.
there's some chairs that may still be confused about that.
Yeah, what I've done in the past is I preloaded all the slides and then I shared the slides directly from Miteco.
Yeah, and that's correct. And this way, slides will also be displayed in the room and everything should work. If you want to just pass the control to somebody else, just find him in the participants list and hand the control over to him.
Perfect. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Exactly. And you can also take the control back when it's done if it doesn't stop manually the controlling of the slides.
Excellent. Cool.
The one tip I'll say is that it's only possible to have one, because I run into this personally, is that you have to be sure that you're just sharing one set of slides at a time.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Okay,
Great question. Thank you, Andy.
Okay, bye-bye.
Let me just get back to the slides, and then see if I can find my chat window. Great. I do not see any other questions in chat. Does anybody have a question? Or I don't see anybody in the queue. Does anybody have a question? Does anybody want to test their audio or video while we're all here? Okay. I'm going to try the poll feature just to that's wrong. I didn't form my hum. Okay, so I've started a poll just to see who would be attending 114 or participating in 114 in person. So that should be going on right now, and you should have been notified. We'll give it a few minutes so you can hop in. Just testing out. We'll give a 5. We'll use the countdown counter. We'll give it 5 minutes. So there should be a countdown counter now in the bottom of the screen, so you can see that feature in running. Just trying to push all the buttons here. Still don't see anybody in the queue. Don't see any questions. So, Alessandro, is there anything else you think we ought to cover while we're here?
Nope, don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, hi, Shiping, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well.
I'm a new chair, so I know nothing. Let me ask some silly question. First, how do I start the Me Echo as a chair rather than a common participant?
That's a great question. So there is magic. What happens is that when you click on the URL, either through the data tracker agenda or somewhere else for a session, you log in using your data tracker credentials, and MeetEcho can tell from your roles in data tracker if you should be chair for a particular session, or should have that those capabilities. So when I clicked on or I loaded the URL for this session, I've been identified as a chair for this session, and so I automatically have the chair roles and abilities. And this is a great. This would be a great example of where setting up a test session in MeetEcho might be super helpful, because you can set up a test session as a chair, and then you can see what MeetEcho looks like as a chair.
Thank you very much. The second question is, I saw you just now, you start a timer. So how can I start this timer? Because we may need to, control people's time.
Yeah, that's a great question. You should see as a chair, and what I'll do is I'll stop sharing this screen and I will share my full screen. So you will see everything. You should see my pointer. You can see that the controls I have up here, there's this countdown clock control, and you can start the timer through the controls available in this modal. So it'll pop up and it'll appear for everybody once you start, and you can set it to be anytime.
Where do you click to start the timer? Didn't see.
Okay.
Here at the top.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. These are the general controls that you'll see. So you'll see it'll be slightly different if you join a session as chair, but it'll be this kind of where most of the controls are for the session.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or? Nope. So for sure you were able to use the hand raising tool and also the audio stream tool, so that's great. I'll leave this view open.
Sorry, another question. How do I share the slides?
Oh, fantastic. So there are two ways to do that. And I confess I'm not as adept as possible. The preferred way to do that is to open the meeting materials. And I'm not doing this correctly. So Alessandro, I will ask you to help me out because I have forgotten how to do that myself, to be honest.
Yeah, what was the question? I was distracted actually.
Yeah, the question is how to share slides, and I wanted to share both sharing preloaded slides and
yeah,
also,
to share preloaded slides, so you have the share preloaded slides button just next to the webcam icons where all the controls are. You have the microphone, the webcam, the share screen, share slides, and join the queue.
Okay, let me let me see if I can show this in action. Thank you. Okay, this will be, so try that. Yeah, I can't show you actually how that works, but right there is the icon, and this is the point I made earlier, is that this stream for sharing the desktop is now occupied by me showing my screen. So I have to stop that, and then if I do stop that, then I can share a preloaded slide, but I can't show you what that looks like. But here, I will just share the slides and you can see what it looks like. And then for me as chair, I can, because I have slide control, I can control which slide is being shown.
Yeah, actually, Shipeng, if Greg stops sharing his slides, if you hit the same button, that's the shares, ask to share slides, I think it's named in your UI, you just have to be moderated, so you need somebody to accept your request, and then you'll see the very same interface that you'll see automatically as chair without any need for approval in that case.
Yeah, so if you want
to try that, I can also trigger it to you if you want. So.
Yep, and I see that we are looking at your slides. So now you should, as Alessandro mentioned, you should have control over the slides through a bar at the bottom of the window.
Yeah, and you can also use arrows on the keyboard if you want.
I am a little bit confused. So am I sharing the slides now?
Yeah.
You are controlling the slides that have been loaded into Meetico. So this is
Yes.
the yeah.
So just now, because I selected this IETF 114 test section, so I think that it's now shown on the slide. But I think that at the beginning, which button do you click to? Is it all the button at the top, like the?
Yeah, it's one of the buttons at the top. Now I triggered the button for you just to show this other possibility. But if I now stop the slide sharing, if you hit it should be the second button from the left, just next to the hand icon.
Yeah, it looks like a little document with a line through it if you're not sharing.
Okay, thank you.
And one of the important points that you brought up is that preloading slides is really a much better way to share slides during a session. So if you are chairing a session and you have presenters that will be using slides, obviously it's nice to have them loaded into Data Tracker, because then everybody can see them, even if they're not using the full Go interface. For example, they're in the room using the light interface and want to see the slides separately. But also it just makes it much smoother, so you don't rely on your network connection to share the slides.
Right, understood.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for asking that question. That's a great question, and definitely an important point. And I see Marco in the chat has provided a link to the guide for chairs of Meetico sessions. So that's also useful and might provide some info about topics you hadn't thought about or didn't encounter, but would be good to know. Our session, let me go back to the show of hands tool and see, I'll end the session. So it looks like 8 of the folks here will be on site and then are in person, so I should say, and 3 didn't raise their hand. So they will be, I suppose, remote at this point. So that's actually great. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of people, to catch up with people in person. And of course, if you're remote, you can hang out in, I think the Gather space will still be available. And the Meetico sessions during the week will help you join the actual working sessions. So we're now about 30 minutes into the session, and I'm happy to hang out for the remainder. I think it's getting close to the end of the day for Alessandro. So if there are any other questions in particular for Alessandro, please feel free to ask. One point I didn't, that I think is called out, this is a final point I should have mentioned earlier, is that, and Alessandro, again, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're chairing a session and you've logged into Meetico and you have the chat available and a question comes up or an issue comes up that you can't, that you need help with, you put Meetico, the word Meetico in the chat, and then ask your question or raise the issue, and there is always someone from Meetico monitoring the chat for all the sessions, so that'll get their attention, and they are usually super quick to respond and resolve anything. And I saw Alessandro nodding, so I got that mostly right. Yep, thanks. Great. Well, like I said, I think we've covered everything that's super important. I will personally, I'm happy to hang on to the session for another 25 or 30 minutes or so in case someone happens to join late. But I want to thank you all for coming and testing this out. I'm looking forward to seeing 8 of you in Philadelphia and the others online. So yeah, if any questions come up between now and then, feel free to drop a line to support@ietf.org by email, and we can get questions and issues resolved that way. I encourage you to set up your own test session for your working group in advance, either on site or using the online tool available starting Friday after the 15th. So thanks again for taking time out of your day to make sure things run smoothly for you at 114. And if anything comes up that we can help with, please let us know. So
Thank you.
hey, everybody. Thanks. Hi. See, someone has just joined. Let me know if you'd like to test sending audio or video, or if you want to test. Hey, hey.
Yeah, this is TJ. Yeah, thanks for sending an email.
Yeah, TJ. Thanks. Thanks, and my apologies again. It was totally my bad. Do you want? Are you looking to test anything in particular, or do you want to see a feature? Happy to run through anything you'd like.
Not specifically. So, yeah. So I'm sharing I will be sharing the ANRW. So one presenter will be presenting their paper remotely. So how can I, teach them to do so?
Yeah. So the most important thing I would say is to make sure that if they're going to be using slides, to have those slides uploaded to the data tracker ahead of time. And then what will happen is you will be able to see, and I'm going to stop so I can show you what that looks like. You'll be able to see, sorry, oh crap. Okay, hold on, sorry. Nope, that's not what I want. This is what I want. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So if they upload their slides, you can see that there's this share preloaded slides icon in the upper left underneath your name. If you click on that, if you click on that, what'll happen is you'll get a list of slides that are available to share. And I can't show you because I can only show you either my desktop or the slides. So it won't allow me to do both. But if they preload the slides into Data Tracker, then it'll be that slide deck will be available to share. And what you can do is you can start sharing those slides, and I'll show you how it looks from the user perspective. You can start sharing those slides and then pass control to the presenter so that then they can control the slides. And here's what else. So for example, so I'm going to share the slides that I've made for this session, and I'm going to pass control to you. Oh, I should have showed you that too. Yeah, actually, let me stop and show you that. It's very awkward because I can't show you everything, but there is a guide. There's a chairs guide that lays this out. Yes, I want to do that, and I want to do the whole deal, but not that one. So okay, so now I'm gonna once I start sharing slides from the share slides icon up here, what I do is then go here, and you can, for a particular user, say, oh, pass control slides. So I'll do that now, and you'll see what it looks like it as a user. Okay, so I'm sharing the slides. Now I've rolled over your name. I see this pass slides control. So now you will have slides controls at the bottom of the slide, and you can advance the slides.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty handy. And then as a chair, you can revoke the permission to share slides. So I will take slide control back, and you'll see this. So now I have slides control again. So it's pretty handy. The key is to upload the slides before, and then once that's done, it's all really, really nice. The other thing to say is if you are expecting video, because I know the ANRW folks are crazy and use things like video during presentations, you should just make sure to let Meetecho know about that ahead of time, because Meetecho as a WebRTC client doesn't really handle video very well, and Meetecho can, if you can get them the video ahead of time, they can do some things so that it works great for everybody.
I have two more follow-up questions. So one is, so What if the authors would like to present offline? Then how can you broadcast this, broadcast this thing's presentation through this, platform?
Yeah, so if they want to use slides that are not uploaded to Data Tracker, that's possible. It's definitely not recommended because it ends up meaning that if it puts higher demand on their network connection, and it's just not as seamless. Like if someone has to take over for them, you can't pass control. But it's definitely possible. And the way to do that is you'll see there's a share screen icon just below your name. It looks like a monitor, a computer monitor. And if you click on that, you can request, and you can try it out and see what it looks like right now. If you click on that, I as chair will get a request to allow you to share your screen.
I see.
And the other trick about that is that you can only share preloaded slides or share a screen. You can't do both at the same time. So I would have to stop the slide share.
So the author shouldn't use the Keynote or PowerPoint for their presentation. They have to connect this platform and share their screen, even if they would like to present on site, right? So
yeah, if they're presenting on site, it's actually even more recommended so that for them to use the Meeteco slide sharing. The other thing I'll say is that in the IETF anyway, I think it's also true in the IRTF, the general idea is that slides are available as part of the meeting agenda in advance, so that that's just sort of the norm. So if they're presenting like PowerPoint or a Keynote format, that they have to convert to PDF, I think, to upload to Data Tracker anyway. And once they do that, it automatically shows up in Meeteco. So everything that's available in Data Tracker is available via Meeteco automatically.
The last one is what if what if the presenter is would like to present remotely, but let's say his network connection is not that good. So our plan is to request them record the video and post it YouTube just in case. Is it possible to use this platform and to play the video here, or
Yeah, for sure. And that's ideal. If you upload the video to YouTube and then you have a URL you can share with the Meeteco folks, they are happy to. There's a Meeteco person that's in every session. So the people who actually run the platform monitor the session. So if you just tell them, hey, we have these 3 or 4 videos that we want to play during our session, and I think they've done this in the past, so it's not new. They'll just be monitoring the session, and when you say, hey, play this video, they'll play that video and it'll show up through the platform, which includes in the room in Philadelphia.
I see.
So that's definitely not a problem, and is a great way to handle that stuff.
So if something doesn't go well, I don't need to be panicked. So
no, if you preload the slides and you have the video shared with Meeteco in advance, everything should go super smoothly. The other thing to say is that, like I said, someone is in Meeteco, and usually they're monitoring pretty closely, especially ANRW sessions, because they're, like I said, it's a little different. But if you are in the session and in the chat for the session, if you type Meeteco, that they have a bot that alerts them. So as soon as that string Meeteco shows up in a chat, like sirens and red lights go off in the control room that they have, and they will come and take a look. So that's always a possibility.
Got it. So should I type a chat here? Oh, I'm sorry.
If you type it,
yeah, I'm using this one first. So.
Yeah, if you type Meeteco into the chat, I believe Alessandro will pop back in. He's monitoring as a Zulip user, but I expect that he will pop back in.
Got it. Yep. That's all. Thank you so much.
No problem. Any other questions?
I guess that's it. So if I have some more follow-up questions, should I to sign up this table, the chairs testing?
Yeah.
I'm
Will you be
seeing,
in Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Unfortunately not. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have to chair remotely. But I think I can find someone who'll be on site so that he can help. But anyway, so I'm seeing the notes.itf.org, IETF chairs testing, and I see a big table for in-person session chair testing. So it is for in-person. So okay, it doesn't apply to me. Okay. All right. I guess then that's it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, TJ. If something comes up before the meeting starts, let me know. I've just dropped a line to Alessandro, who is sort of the lead contact for us on Medico, to alert him that there will be videos for the ANRW sessions. So, and if there is someone on site, or even if you want to test but you will be remote, you can go ahead and grab one of those slots in the testing, and you can test as a remote chair.
Oh, okay.
In an in-room setup. I don't know if it's possible. I know IETF working group chairs and IRTF working group chairs can set up test sessions ahead of time so they can see it and run through everything as a chair and coordinate with presenters. I don't know if that's true for ANRW. I'll ask about that.
Yep. Thank you. All right.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining. Sorry about the trouble. If anything comes up,
No worries.
we can help with.
Yep.
Let us know.
Yep. Thank you so much for your help. Bye.
Okay. Cheers.